Hello, in this video I am going to show you how to set up JavaScript on a Linux machine such as Ubuntu. So first of all, make sure you have some sort of text editor. You could use the built-in one. I will be using something called Sublime Text. I would download the new version later. It is a fantastic editor on any platform. So the next thing you want to do is we need this open, sorry. We can start coding in here. So I would say I'll upgrade that later as well. And so let's go to here. Actually, this will trigger itself when we specify the extension. So let's just write some code. Before that, what I'm going to do is create a folder, and folder is going to be called project. And in here is where we'll place all of our files. So what you want to do is save this. So go to the project folder that you just created, and I'm going to call this index.html. And the code that you learn from this series will be used for not just in web-based projects, in literally any project that allows you to run JavaScript, even in mobile applications. Okay, so for a HTML doc, we'll need to put a doc type. So doc type HTML, and now we are going to put the other way around. Let's use the uppercase, use the lowercase. Not that I think it actually matters, but I'm pretty sure that's the standard. And so let's just quickly write up a little application or little website. So we're going to put a head tag. Again, this series this video is not here to explain the ins and outs of web development and HTML or any CSS. We'll be using some basic stuff like that, and I'll try and explain it as I go along. But again, this is a JavaScript series, so I'll recommend that you know some basic HTML, CSS before you have a go at this video. Okay, and let's say if we put a body, and in the body, let's just put a h1 tag so we can actually see it, so we know that it is actually working. So let's say hello world, and there's a couple of different ways that you can add JavaScript code. So the one common way is to use something called a script tag, and there are sort of two main places that you generally put this. You either put it in the head tag, and if you put it within the head tag, that means it is run before the rest of the content on your website. If you want it to be run afterwards, you would put it generally here just before the closing body tag. I'm just going to place it at the top right here. Again, depending on your website and on your scenario, you might want it in a different location, but it's just as simple as moving it. So we can just put script, and that should be enough, but it's also recommended that you put a type, and this just tells the web browser what type of code this is. Generally, you don't need it. Web browsers are a lot smarter than they used to be, but just to ensure maximum compatibility, I would just put it. And here is literally where you put your JavaScript code. We're not going to be doing any JavaScript code in this video. That will be reserved for a separate video. This is just a setup stage. The other way that you can actually add JavaScript code is simply by creating a separate file, and in that separate file you put all the code that you want. And let's do that version as well. So I'm going to click Control N, create a new file. I'm going to save this, and I'll just call it custom, and instead of a .html extension, I'm going to do .js. So that means this file can only support JavaScript code. So you can't support HTML or CSS code. So I click save. It's right here. And in here we could write something. And now what we can do is just include the file. We could sorry about that, we could include it before or after this script tag. It just really depends on, is this script tag dependent on what's in that other file, or is the file dependent on this? If neither, then it doesn't matter. So those are the sort of things that you need to consider. And we just put a script tag. Again, we put a type of, I think you guessed it, text /JavaScript. But instead of putting any code inside of here, as we would for this one, all we do is put src, which stands for source, and now we specify the location of our JavaScript file. As it's in the same location as our index.html file, all we have to do is put custom.js. If this was in a folder called, I don't know, amazing folder, you would put amazing folder / then the file name. So if I save that, now if I just double click it, so it runs it in a web browser. As you can see, hello world has appeared. So if I just right click, go to just inspect, let's just have a look what we've got. So we're interested in the head section. So we've got an empty, script tag. We've got a custom.js, and this is linked now. So any code that we put within, where's the minimize? Yeah, let me just show you. So any code you put in here, let me extend this out a second. There we go. Any code that you put inside here will get run. Any code that you put inside of the custom.js file will also get run as well. It's generally recommended that you put it within separate files. You can have multiple files depending on what the code is doing. And as you develop more complex websites and applications, you will use other libraries and frameworks that other people have created. A lot of them will be free and open source, and they'll have JavaScript files, which you'll include in a similar fashion to this. But that's it really for setting up JavaScript. Once you've done it on, this platform, you can literally just copy this onto another system, whether it's Linux or not, Ubuntu or not, whether it's Windows, Mac, it doesn't matter. It will just run. It's the code and the setup is not specific to a particular platform. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next part.